Oh my god, I never muted myself. Hello, 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 everybody. How are we doing? Welcome to this week's episode of Noli and Friends, number 12, with Mr. AtoWorks. Hello, sir.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome aboard. This is our
Thanks.
first artisan maker in the podcast. Lady Ato, hello. I've heard a lot about you. I think every time I'm in your stream, I hear you talking about Lady Ato.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, how you doing, though, friend?
I'm good, man. I'm doing really well. Things have been going really smooth. I actually just finished painting the last of the caps that we have for this sale that's coming up, and trying to get myself in a mind frame for going into our next project.
I really like the new mold. I do. I know it's like not really like new now, but like your new mold, I'm in love with.
It's like, to be honest with you, this is my favorite one so far. Uh, I feel like the first two were really great, but they were they didn't feel very, I didn't have the balance between like uh keycap and design. Like there was, it didn't have the right feeling. This is the first one where I feel like it actually feels like a keycap, and it still has all of the design pieces that I wanted to have, and still has all the details that I wanted to have. But it doesn't feel like it's overbearing for a keyboard.
Which is hilarious to say because like I'm looking at the one you had sent me and it's just it's so much detail. So to say there's not like much in it is just like insanity to me, at least on that side.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, is there's just as much detail in this cap. I think with the first cap, I mean, each one of those caps took me about 7 to 8 hours to paint one.
Really?
Yeah, so I started scaling it back, and I didn't do as much texture shading and as much paying attention to light distribution, and just typical like painting techniques.
Sure.
Um, I stopped doing that with this one, and it feels more organic.
And to be honest with you, I don't even think, like, trust me, like, there's like, or Dick, I can tell like the time that you put into painting the first ones, but with the second ones, it almost like looks so clean, and like there's definitely like a lot more like solid colors where it almost like pops more. Where I can see people almost like liking that style more just because like it's a little bit more to look at when it's like sitting on your board or for your macro pad.
I think the big thing is too is that I mean you got to think of it. It's an 18 by 18 millimeters.
It's
So
so
like I'm
the
trying to fit,
tiniest canvas.
yeah, I'm like trying to fit all this detail and all these different colors to show something spectacular in this tiny little frame that it was too much, and I realized it was too much, and you can tell um on cap one that it was too much because when you start to take photos of it, all of a sudden the photos start to show all of the paint and all of the unevenness of the paint because you're trying to layer and texture and all of this stuff.
Sure.
Where now I can take pictures of this thing with a macro lens and you can't. I mean, it's just it looks like a casted cap.
Yeah. No, it looks, and it looks fantastic. This is 3D resin printed, correct? Your keycaps.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, First off, before we get too deep into this, so for those of you who may not know, Mr. AtoWorks is our first and a artisan maker in the keyboard hobby. Um, Now I do like, and I know I was like just telling you this beforehand that we don't like to focus too much on like the key side of things. But I do like to ask, how did you get like find yourself in? Because it's interesting that like I remember you popping up on TikTok, but it was like it seems like you just like went straight to the artisan side of things.
I didn't.
Really?
I actually I started making artisans,
Sure.
but I didn't communicate with the artisan community at all. I came into the hobby under keyboards, so I have like really good keyboards, and I mean I have cables, keyboards, I have everything, like, so I know more about keyboards than a lot of the other artisan makers just because that's what I surrounded myself with when I came into the hobby.
Sure.
So the big thing for me was like the whole reason I got into and I won't go into too much detail because it's super hard to talk about, but the reason I got into this whole artisan thing in the first place is because I fell in love with like the keyboard hobby in general. Um, and I had first found out about it about right about the beginning of December, right
Sure.
about the time I started talking to you, and then as of December 26th, my youngest daughter had a life changing accident, and she had to have emergency brain surgery. Completely changed the course of my entire family's lives. So she's in a year recovery. She is fighting. She fights. We fight with things every day. She's progressively gotten better, and we're still moving in that direction, which is super positive. But I had to take a year away from what I've done my whole life, which is sales and marketing, um, to take care of her. And I kind of fell face first into this hobby, like I said, about a month prior, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I just started, and that just kind of took off from there.
First, first off, I'm glad to hear things are going better with your daughter. I remember you talking to me about that back in December. So I'm glad to hear that there are steps going in the right direction.
Yeah,
Um,
they're getting there for sure.
Good job. I feel like you deserve that.
Thank you. I
Good job.
appreciate that.
I'm proud of you. Um,
It's been hard. It's been incredibly challenging because my Lady Otto is my wife, but she's not the mother of my children. The mother of my children is she's like my best friend, and we co-parent very well. So we have four parents for the kids. Her fiance, my wife. We all do everything together. So it's it's been a challenge for all four of us and for grandparents and everybody to try to get life back to normal, but to also make sure that she understands restrictions and what she can and can't do, and trying to make her feel like a normal 4-year old, but at the same time being able to let her know that, she's got to take it a little bit easier than any other kid.
And that's amazing. It's really good that it sounds like you have like that support system around you and people that you can lean on when like things get tough and you need help with things.
Oh,
It's amazing. I'm happy to hear that.
it's incredible.
Um, I guess like first, how like with the at least like with your first molds, you I remember you explaining it to me. Um, but how exactly did you get into I guess like finding like let me just say like I guess like the thematic lane that you wanted to go with your artisans, and specifically how did you get the name AtoWorks?
So, and I missed the second part of that question. I apologize. But the first part is the idea came to me because I've always had a love and a passion for the historical Japanese side of their culture. For some reason, it's always spoken to me for some reason. And when the keycap thing first launched, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I was talking to Lady Otto one day, and I was like, I want to do something that I want to do. And the first thing I looked for when I came into this hobby, when I had my first board built, was Japanese artisan keycaps, and I couldn't find any that I liked. And that's no jab to anybody who makes them. I just couldn't find anything that I liked. Everything was either too cartoony or I don't know. Even from the beginning, I didn't trust like super cheap artisans on like Amazon and stuff like that. So I never
Sure.
grabbed any of those. So I always felt like that was weird that the ones on Instagram were like 55, $65, and then there was some that were $15. I was like, it seems a little strange. So, but I never picked up any of them because there wasn't anything that I liked. So the first step that I took was saying to myself, I'm going to develop keycaps on specific shogun and samurai leaders from the Sengoku period of Japan, because I know that the different provinces within Japan had different leaders at that time, and each leader played a part in how Japan went from being provinces to an empire. So each place played its role, and I felt like at the very most or at the very least, I wanted to tell a storyline. One thing I noticed coming into the hobby is that nobody does anything with storylines, and I'm big on storylines.
I
So
also simp for storylines.
yeah, so I felt like I'm gonna do 25 caps for all 25 provinces, and each cap is gonna tell the story of who that leader was and what they did to build up their province to try to take over the Empire of Japan, and then make it into one big storyline. And it just took off from there. Every detail just kind of fell into place after that.
Now, ooh, I don't know if that blinked out for you. Um, Now I guess like moving, is there like a way that you like pick and choose? Do you can start researching provinces? Do you already have like a bunch of samurai and shogun in mind? Like how did you end up like I guess deciding on what you like who you want to base it on?
So I'm basing it on all of them.
Okay,
The hard part was figuring out how to make the storyline play out so that it made sense. Um, because a lot of these things were taking place at the same time.
gotcha.
There were a lot of moments where one samurai leader from one province would die during a battle between four other provinces, and his story just doesn't get told. So there are smaller leaders that will get folded into the storyline, um, just because not every leader had an amazing story like Oda Nobunaga. Like the cap that we're doing now for Oda is, I mean, he's huge. He is one of the most well-known samurai leaders from that entire period. He paved the way for a lot of stuff that took place. So his cap is huge, absolutely like huge.
Hmm. That's it's like interesting hearing about like just how because you I know you include the scrolls with all of yours that kind of like also tells that story,
Yeah.
uh, which I like. I'm like at least like with artisans like I live for like first off I love collecting stickers first off, but there's something like so nice about different like seeing like artists and makers especially put in the effort, and especially with yours like everything is so thematically solid. The nice bamboo box, which I must say the little magnet, nice touch on that.
I
I
love
took
the
note.
magnet. My favorite part.
I remember when I unboxed it, I'm like, dude, there's a little magnet. I'm like, this is like not just like a little slidey. Like,
Yeah.
there's some love in this.
Yeah.
Um, but the nice like well exactly the expert scroll burner right here. I was gonna say the scroll is a fantastic touch. It's almost like your do you do like ID cards, or is that scroll essentially your ID card?
So I'm gonna be really honest with you here, and I haven't said this to anybody like in an interview, but like I hate ID cards. Like I don't think I think it's so for me, I will never do an ID card that says the number of caps that I've put out. I've told everybody that I usually put out between 45 and 50 caps. But that detail for me seems like it's it doesn't do anything for anybody, and it for me it just doesn't make any sense. And I've talked to multiple artisan makers who have been like, I wish I never started doing it because now it's just like it's a pain. Um so and I believe if you with your cap, I believe your card is numbered.
Mine's I kept I keep all of my artisan cases, so it's somewhere in my drawer.
Well, not your
Um,
case. The business card I sent you, I think on the back of it, it was numbered.
I'm pretty sure I kept I have the business card, so it's somewhere in there.
So,
Um,
but that was the only time I did it, and I was like, I'm not doing this
never
again.
again, never
No,
again.
no. But that's the thing is, I want to do stickers, but it's hard for me to do stickers because I don't have as an artisan maker, I don't have like if I do a sticker of Oda Nobunaga, right? In 25 20, let's say in 10 caps. Nobody's going to care about an Oda Nobunaga sticker because that was 10 caps ago. So I don't have a cap yet that's like solidified within the AtoWorks brand so that I can cast it and always do it on colorways. I don't have that yet. Everything I've created so far is a one off. It's a one and done. You'll never get it again. So it's hard for me to make a sticker that's not just my logo. And so I don't have a what do you call those things? Like a
Like a vinyl cutter or
well like an animation. Like I don't have like a you know how like Yukio's got Yuki. Like it's a
sure.
character.
Oh,
It's a
got
character
you.
representation. I don't
I
have anything like
see.
that.
I see.
So I do want to make something like that. I'm just not sure how to go about it and where to start. And there's so much stuff going on that I just haven't delved into it yet.
Sure.
Um, but stickers, I think stickers is something I want to get into, but not like cards and numbering and all that stuff. I like it plain and simple and to feel when you open that package, I want it to feel traditional Japanese. I want it to feel like this was made in the 1500s. Like
Sure.
that's important to me.
No, and one, I definitely like, appreciate that. Definitely, definitely would appreciate. I personally would appreciate stick. I am a sticker hoarder. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these. Um, but um, no presentation alone, like you knocked it out of the park. I love because like it's funny. Like I've gotten like I've gotten bongos, which are like arguably the like one of the most sought after artisan caps, and all his come in are a white cardboard box that he doodles on. But then it's like on the other end we have this absolutely beautiful wooden box. You open up with a scroll presented to you, and I think like almost like packaging, especially in like this hobby, with anything, packaging is almost like just as important as the product.
I completely agree, and I think that I, for me, when I came into this, I ordered a few caps and was very disappointed with how they came. And I said to Lady Otto, I want to give people an experience when they open the cap. I don't want it to be oh cool, my cap came in. I wanted to give it a story and like make it feel real. So for me, I knew that in my mind I wanted it to not only be something that I could ship it in, but I also wanted it to be something that I could display them in. So if somebody wanted to display the cap, all they have to do is pull the thing back, keep the cap and the scroll inside of it, and they can display it anywhere standing up. And
Yeah.
the box plays two different forms. Like you can do multiple things with it. So that was big for me, was wanting to have a display, but also a box that they could ship it in.
Force keys, I feel like newer makers care way more about packaging than the OGs, and I feel like half like I like agree and disagree in a sense that like I feel like some of the older ones like it was kind of like still a new thing like because like let's be real, I feel like up till what, let's say 2 years ago, probably before I wasn't even in the hobby, like how many artists, like I feel like there's been a massive spurt of
Oh yeah.
artists and makers in the last year, and I do think it's kind of like it's they like newer artist makers. Not, this is in no way a knock, but it's like they almost like we have. I feel like a lot of people in this hobby are having more stuff to play with now. Like it's kind of like the groundwork has been set. So like, what can we do with what's already been laid down? At least that's how I look at it.
I mean, I think I agree with that in a way. Um, I think I agree with the fact that the groundwork has been laid uh, for creativity,
Yeah,
because it's been it's I mean the packaging alone, and I'm speaking strictly on packaging. Packaging has been so lackluster in the past, where people used to get caps in Ziploc bags. So to me, it was important for me, at least, and again, I can't speak for anybody else, but it was important for me to give a whole experience, not just make a cap and get it out the door as quick as I could possibly get it out the door. It was like, how when somebody opens up the bag and they pull this stuff out, I want them to be excited about what they have in their hands, not just a cap that feels like, okay, I've spent almost $100 after shipping. I've spent almost $100 on this cap. I want everybody who opens it to feel like that their money was worth it,
I
because
think
that's how
it's,
I would want to feel.
and I could not agree more. I don't think anything is more like, at least like to me, like in this hobby, like getting anything is exciting. But like, actually, I take it back. Like anything outside this hobby, packaging is everything. Like I remember it, like my cyberboard is still my favorite unboxing experience I've ever done in this hobby. It is that it's that or like the key call. Like that's another company that like puts like a very drastic amount of detail into their packaging, and it's always gets mentioned. And like I feel like I could say the same about your product. It is something that I feel like a lot of people talk about.
Yeah, and I
And I
feel
think
like
you
that's
really
the
knocked it out of the
conversation.
park.
I feel like I get that conversation more than anything else, is my packaging.
You were one of my first. I've had a few. I mean, I've definitely like over the last year collected a lot of artisans, but you were definitely one of my first ones because I was still kind of like getting into this black hole inside the black hole of keyboards. It's
Yeah,
literally a black hole inside of a black hole.
yeah,
Um, but I remember you telling me like he's like, yeah, it's gonna come in this bamboo box. It slides open and there's gonna be presented with a scroll. I'm like, dude, this sounds sick.
yeah.
I remember thinking like this guy cares. Like this is cool.
And I think that like that reaction for me was big. And I think that so honestly, when I first started, and I'm sure I've told you this, and I'm sure everybody who's in chat has heard this, but like when I first came into the hobby, I got shunned pretty hard for having 3D printed caps that were painted. And I got what felt like blacklisted pretty hard. So I pulled back, and I like that's where I kind of stuck with my keyboard, you know, friends, and learned more about the keyboard hobby as I did my keycaps in the background. And I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna come out hard. I'm gonna make sure that people know who I am. I'm gonna make sure that I nobody can say that I'm not I'm not putting everything I have into this. I'm gonna put out a product that I absolutely am 100% sure is gonna blow people's mind. Whether it's the packaging, the cap, the scroll, everything. And the scroll itself, um, Lady was a huge part of Lady Auto. Like she put a lot of that mindset together. I knew I wanted to do some kind of storyline, but we sat down and we were processing ideas one night, and she was like, we should do like a scroll. And then as soon as she said that, I was like, okay, we could like burn the edges of the paper. I can buy traditional like worn paper and print it on worn paper, burn the edges of the paper, tie it with like real string, burn the edge of the string, make it feel real. And
Yeah,
it just kind of everything took off.
and it's the same. It's like detail. Detail is everything.
Yeah.
Especially when you get the ball roll. And like that's the best feeling when you get the ball rolling on. It's like especially like something like that. Like that must have been such a sick feeling.
Yeah. It was I mean, well, so it was like the definition of being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like,
Ozzy,
you know
thank
what I mean?
thank you for the raid, Ozzy. I appreciate it, my friend.
Yo, the legend.
Guys, this is my name is Manoli. I build keyboards. This is Mr. AtoWorks. He makes keycaps. We both have nice calves. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's on the list. And this is Noli Friends, where I interview, friends. This is the friend this week.
Hello, friends.
Um, but I'm sorry, you were saying though about like just the whole set, like getting the ball rolling on packaging, especially.
Yeah, so well, I think that the whole like the steps that I took to get everything going was was difficult. You know, I ordered everything in small amounts at first because I wasn't sure how it was going to go, how well it was going to be taken. And then once I started to really get a feel for what we were going to do and what we wanted to portray, I like soaked everything back into the business. So like every piece of every sale that we've done so far, every bit of money that we have made has gone straight back into AtoWorks. For supplies, for processing, for all of this stuff. And we've stepped up everything. Like the when you with the cap that you got, if you look at the foam that's inside of it, that foam I completely got rid of. Like that was I went that way with the foam at first because I was hand cutting everything.
Oh, really?
I hand cut all of that foam for 50 different boxes,
Oh, God bless
and
your soul.
it was a nightmare. But then I was like, you know what? It's worth it though. Like I want it to look a certain way. But then I did some research on the foam that we put in the boxes, and I found out that it's not environmentally friendly. So we not buying anymore. And we found a company that actually makes the sizes that we needed, and they laser cut everything out for us. So now when the packages come, everything is clean lines. Everything looks incredible. So I'm really excited for this cap to go out for people to see what the unboxing looks like. I'm really pumped.
No, and I'm excited for you. For one, I figured you got a laser cut, so you did a fantastic job hand cutting them because I never suspected for a second
Yeah,
that
and they
that
were all
was.
hand cut with my like tiny little razor blade. This is literally what I use to cut every one of those things.
Oh, the exacto,
Yeah.
the exacto. Um, this question, and then I have an idea of where I want to take this next direction, but I asked earlier. This is I think the part that you didn't hear. Where did you get the name AutoWorks?
So first and foremost, the only reason that I am where I am today is for three people. And I mentioned this before, but Jeff Battle Station, Dutch, and Calamity Cables.
I this is like such like a core trio that like I knew the once you said Jess Battle Station, I'm like it's gonna be Dutch and Calamity next. Like I am familiar with this trio.
Yes, so
They are homies.
we have formed, and it's literally ever since I got into the hobby, all four of us have been so inseparable. And that's where I got but I mean if you look at it, like that's why I'm mostly in keyboard streams and talking in keyboard, like doing more keyboard stuff than anything else, because that's who I surround myself with. So I got the name AutoWorks from Calamity Cables. So I was looking for a name, and I'd been looking for a name, and I was like, man, I want something that feels organic. And he was like, what about Ato? It's art in Japanese. And I was like, yeah. I was like, but
Oh.
it feels a little like lackluster. So I was like, what if we did works after it, like AtoWorks? And he was like, yeah, that's awesome because then it means artwork in Japanese. Like it's and I as soon as we, it was literally an Instagram FaceTime phone call, and it clicked, and that was it. We took off from there.
When you know, you know. I'm like all too familiar with that feel. It's like once like you hear like when you're trying to decide on like anything, it's like it hits you like a brick wall, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, as soon as I heard it, as soon as I put two and two together, I I had a logo in mind. I had how it was going to be written. I mean, it when it hit me, you're right. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, yep, that's
it's
it.
a it's a great feeling. Like
Yeah.
I think everyone like has those every blue moon, but it's honestly just the best. You're like we have a lot. The stars have a lot. We're ready to move.
Oh yeah, I went through some really bad name ideas.
Do you have any that you remember?
Oh God. Oh, my first one that I really wanted it was Panda Caps.
I'm so glad you didn't do panda caps.
There's already a Panda Caps.
Uh, no offense to panda caps.
No. That's the thing is they haven't actually done anything in like 4 years.
There you go.
So I reached out to them. Was like, hey man, are you really using this name? Because it doesn't seem like it. Because I want it. And he messaged me back like a week and a half later and was like, yeah, I'm still using it. And I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, there was like four more that were they were so bad.
You know what? Like it. Sorry.
No, I was gonna just complain more about how bad they were.
It's like just hearing like at least like from like what you have now for something like panda caps. Like in my head, it's like you ever see like do you watch anime?
Oh yeah.
It's like anime. It's like stuff like this. I'll see like people like do like recolors of them. Like, dude, imagine if the like it was like Naruto's hair was red. I just saw it on my Instagram discovery page. I'm like, this looks terrible. Like it's just like you're used to one thing and then completely switching to the other side is like
Yeah.
it's just weird. It's like I don't like it would probably be normal if it wasn't like normal.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like this name, branding, logo,
Oh,
everything,
it's
it just
great.
suits me.
Rama works and Auto works like killer.
Right.
The works is underrated. See, like I did visuals, and I'm already sitting here like, honestly, like I love Manoli visuals. I've been wanting to just be at Manoli on everything for years. I have DM'd everyone who owns at Manoli. The guy on Twitter does use it. Or no, Twitter or Instagram, one of the two. They actually use at Manoli, and I'm pissed about it. I think he's a rocket scientist. Like all jokes aside.
Really?
I think that's serious. I think he's like some kind of like rocket engineering. I don't know, but either way, I'm just like you just gotta wait till you're famous and you can buy them all out. Like I will be at Manoli and everything. We will ditch visuals one day, but for now we're keeping it.
Well, and that's so I have kind of started to I've kind of started to fall away from keycaps. Not making keycaps, but AtoWorks keycaps and just being AtoWorks. So
Just in case.
well, that's the thing is I've already started like we already have desk mats.
I was gonna say.
So like I don't want to hold myself to only making keycaps.
Is there an AutoWorks on Twitter already? Like just an at AutoWorks?
No.
Dude,
There's
take it.
nothing AutoWorks is not taken anywhere and I trademarked the name.
If I were you on Twitter, I would definitely because I actually was. I'm glad I checked because I wanted to make sure I had like there was no like underscores maybe, and I'm like, oh, it's AutoWorks keycaps, and I'm like, dude, he should just be AutoWorks. Like that was my thought process. If I were you, I would
Yeah.
ditch that. I am
Well,
a
I
fan
already
of just.
made the switch on Twitch.
Oh, so
Um,
you were keycaps originally on
I
Twitch.
was keycaps on
Oh,
Twitch,
okay.
and I am still keycaps on Instagram and stuff
Oh,
like that.
really? I don't know
Yeah,
why I thought you were just AutoWorks.
but I feel like I was only keeping it keycaps until I started to create a good base structure, and then I was just gonna lose keycaps, and the growth has been completely unexpected.
Your Instagram has popped off. Like, congratulations on that.
Thanks, man. And honestly, I I know it sounds terrible to say, but marketing and sales was not anything that I was worried about coming into this hobby. I've done it for 15 years as a trainer, as a manager. So like being able to market myself on Instagram, on social medias, things like that, it's all I've done, and it's all I've taught people how to do for so long. So I wasn't too worried about that. I was more worried about being accepted into the hobby from within the hobby.
I
So
no, please.
that was just my biggest struggle was it wasn't so much like the thought process behind whether or not I was going to uh gain traction with followers and comments and love. I believed in the product, and I thought that the storyline was great, and I hoped that it would take off the way that it has. I wasn't expecting it to be as quick as it's been, though. That was the key for me.
I will say, from I remember you talking to me about this, like how like artisan makers were like trying to like quote unquote blacklist you. And I remember I said something along the lines of "fuck them," then like who
Yep.
cares? Uh, I can like just tell. I remember talking to him. I'm like, it's a good dude. I'm like, dude, don't like. I'm so glad you, because I remember thinking about it after. I'm like, I hope you keep. I was like hoping. I'm like, I hope you keep doing it, because I think you're like, one, I think you're awesome. You're a super nice guy, and two, I love the keycaps. So it's
I appreciate
deserved.
it. I think
Congratulations.
that fueled me more than anything.
Which is good, because I feel like that's like an easy thing for people to get hung up on, and
Yeah.
not giving a fuck is a very important thing. It's something I definitely stand by. So
Sure.
congrats first off,
Thank
sir.
you, brother. I appreciate that.
But what you said before actually works, because that leads into my next question. So obviously a history in marketing and sales. Were you always the creative type? Like, did you know like have you like been in a painting before? Like, how did you like think like, oh, I want to? Because like personally, like I don't think like on that aspect of things, like I've never been. I would love to be good at painting and drawing, but I've not put in the time or effort. I'm all video. Um, like, did you have any experience that made you think like, wow, I want to jump into artisan design, like sculpting and painting? Like, has there ever
So,
been like any kind of like path to that? I guess.
um, I've always had a weird, an oddly good, like I can't draw with my hand. If you give me a pencil and a piece of paper, I can't draw anything.
Makes
I
no
wanted to
odds.
be a tattoo artist for a long time, but I can't draw anything. But if I have a mouse in my hand, I I can there's I'm just I all of a sudden I was pretty decent. Um Now when it came to painting, I have been painting since I was probably 7. My grandmother was a ceramic painter. She would
Oh
create her own
wow.
ceramic sculptures, and she had a kiln, she had all of this stuff, and she would mass produce these things, and she would uh, paint them and give them away as Christmas gifts or things like that for the community. She also taught a ceramic class in a high school when I was younger. um, so I always painting with her. um, and so I grew up painting, not realizing that it would come to use. um, so I think that because I started painting when I was young, it made me I'm very good with colors. Mixing, blending, knowing color tones, knowing how light is supposed to hit a structure to show light or to show color in a different perspective. So I've always been very keen on lighting effect and colors. So, but I can't draw. So it was a weird concept, but I knew that going into it painting was going to be the only way that I was going to go into it. I had no idea what resin casting was or how difficult it was, but I think that that's why I'm excited about it, because I'm very good with mixing colors and knowing what I'm going to come up with.
It's so interesting. It's life's weird in that like you never know. It's kind of like, because I feel like you're kind of doing what she did now, but just on a totally different like like in a totally different like wheelhouse. I should say like it's like I'm I'm thinking. Have you ever seen the not the dictate the interview? It's like James
Oh
Franco.
yeah.
It's like same but different is all that's going through my head. But it's
Well, the funny thing is that like I think that the best part of it for me is that so my grandmother passed away 9 years ago, like 9.5 years ago, and so I haven't painted anything in so long. But now when I'm sitting down painting, people are like, "Dude, I don't know how you do this." And I'm like, honestly, it makes me feel closer to my grandmother. So like, I absolutely love this.
I for one am not laughing at that sentimental story. That's
Oh no,
very
you're
sweet.
fine.
Um,
I figured it was chat.
Archetype asks, Otto, we're here for real questions. How do you feel about the current state of the community, and what's your dick to floor ratio?
So listen, I'll answer question number two first, and I'm gonna answer this with a statement. Okay.
Oh my god.
I, I I'm not sure how to.
The timing of that question was
Yeah.
horrifically
Oh,
perfect.
dude, it was, yeah, no, it was awful, but it was perfect. Uh, Listen, if my D2F was bad, I wouldn't have 3 kids. I'm just like,
it's easy. Okay, to be fair though, it's also very easy for us to have D to F ratio. You're also a short king, right? How tall are you?
oh, dude, I'm 5'6".
Oh, you're an inch taller than me. No. We were made for this. We were born for D to F
Yeah,
ratios.
yeah, oh yeah. Everything looks bigger on us. My elbows are huge.
L7, we take those. We take those.
But okay, so what was the first question? The current state of the community?
What is the current state of the community? We might as well. Let's hear the community. How do you feel about it?
Uh I feel like I have a question based on that question. Do you mean the artisan community, or do you mean the like the keyboard community in general?
Both are such dangerous questions. Both
Yeah.
are such dangerous questions.
Well, I feel like they're in two different places.
How do you feel about the keyboard community? Not artisans, keyboards.
I feel like the keyboard community is
It was just a big question, he said. But might as well. I'm still interested to hear if you'd like to talk about it.
well, okay, I'll just keep it short then. So I feel like the keyboard community like is in a weird half and half like infrastructure sort of place where we have a lot of new people coming in that are following these bigger companies like Glorious and a lot of other companies that are not always sending out the best information. So I feel like a lot of people are coming into the hobby with false expectations and false understanding of what this community is about and what builds the community up. Um, and once they get a realization of what the community is actually about and why things cost the things that they cost, a lot of people start to fall off. So I feel like it's a lot of open and closing doors, a lot of swinging doors, if that makes sense.
It's hilarious how perfect it makes sense. And then it's not even that, but then it's the people who stick around. It's like it kind of comes down to like who's here for hype and who's here because they really are obsessed with these over expensive pieces of aluminum.
Correct. And that's the thing is like I
Or
feel
acrylic.
like there can be passion on either side. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter as far as artisans go. I feel like the artisan community is um, also in a very weird place. It's also for me it's in a 50-50 barrier, but it's for a different reason. I think that everybody now is an artisan maker. It just seems to be that that's what's happening. Um, but it seems to be uh, more of an understanding now of how difficult this is, and that it's not something that you can just pick up and do as quickly or as easily as people portray or things like that. Because I got a lot of questions when I first came in as to why prices were so expensive and things like that. But now that I've started to stream what I do, I feel like I get a lot of people saying this makes more sense now. Like now that we see everything that goes behind the scenes, like post pre-production, everything, I put all of it on my stream so people have an idea now as to what all goes into it. So um, I feel like the artisan community is amazing. Like the OGs that have been here for so long have given me such a strong mindset now to where once I feel like I've gotten to a point where I feel confident in what I'm doing, I feel like I can turn around and help the next person behind me and pull them up. And that is something that I strive for, is like helping other people out. Especially with the amount of help that has been given to me. So I feel like both are in a good place right now, but it's a lot of trial and error on both sides, I feel like.
First off, I feel like that's was worded perfectly. Let me just say, but no, and I feel like it's kind of like. I feel like the keyboard. I feel like you just summed up the keyboard hobby as a whole with that state, with all of that. Like, I feel like a lot of that can translate right over. I don't know. I'm like for one, just like I feel like it's kind of like surprising how big keyboards are right now, like in a weird way. You having fun, sir? Sorry, my cat has been a menace down here for the entirety of this interview. But it's just like it's like almost overwhelming how like intense keyboards have gotten over this last year. But it is good to see that I guess like, people who are still like kind of like here for the fun of it, but also like happy to help too. Like no matter like I don't know, there shouldn't be egos in keyboards. I feel like I just hear drama in keyboards and I just think to myself like, how is this happening? Like in such a silly little community. Like this is a weird niche hobby and there's no like denying it. Like this is a weird hobby.
Oh,
How
yeah,
is
dude,
there like legitimate, and it's like I guess like with any community, drama will find its way through.
sure.
I don't know. I think I'm just big on
But
like be a good person and just do the right thing.
speaking on drama and kind of going back to what we talked about a little while ago, I do want to say, and I want to put this out there so that it's understood. I Those people that I felt shunned and blacklisted by in the community when I first started making keycaps because they were 3D printed and painted, I have never seen them again. And I was thinking that these people were key people in the community. You know, like other artisan makers. I thought that these were staples in the community that were saying these things, and at that time, that's why it took me back so hard. So now that now that I am where I am, I don't think that I've ever seen those people again. So like, and now seeing that the OGs like Destroyer, like Archetype, like all of these people that have been in the hobby for the amount of time that they've been in, and they bend over backwards to help and answer questions, just get simple understandings of things, made me realize that that's not who I was talking to at that time. I was talking to probably, you know, people in the hobby that wanted things their way, and that was it.
And it's I feel like you won't last in something like that when it's like almost like like when you gatekeep and you're worried about this is a hobby that's still like as big as it's gotten. It's still so small that there's room for everybody. There will always be room for everybody. Nothing. It doesn't matter, you know. So I don't know. It's good to see that there's still good people out there, you know.
Yeah.
Um. Now for a little bit of a less serious thing, but an equally as serious at the exact same time, sir. You've been talking about him for about 3 months now. I've been waiting patiently. I have to ask on behalf of everyone in chat right now. Can we see your calves?
So listen, here's the thing. No.
What?
And
what? You have been in my chat talking about this. What?
Now, let me tell you why. Because I'm going to be seeing you very soon.
Okay?
And guess who else is gonna be there?
Who else is gonna be there?
Sam Pack.
Ah, St. Pack does have good calves.
So we're gonna put this to rest in person because I'm telling you, I'm coming. I'm
have,
coming.
you,
It's
have, you, have you been in the gym doing calf races? Like really prepping them?
yeah, dude. And I'm telling you, like, there's not a. We're gonna meet up at some weird place where there's a picnic table, and there's not gonna be a picnic table that's gonna handle all three calves.
They're gonna shatter the Earth's core. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I'm pissed right now. You know, I've saved this for the last question. I was like, this is how we're gonna enter the back end segment of this interview, you bastard.
But you know what? Like, it's gonna be so worth it when it happens.
Like, you're right, but fuck you. Absolutely.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm
I knew it was
heated
gonna
right
come up,
now.
and I could not wait for that question.
Of course it was gonna come up. You've been the one talking about it. I've been ready.
Yep.
Oh, you dog. You dirty dog. Isn't he so mean? Oh my god, yes. I'm heated right now. How am I supposed to sleep tonight? That's all I've been thinking about.
You're gonna have nightmares about it because you're gonna be like, I still don't know.
I'll go from nightmares to sweet dreams after. Oh my god, I'm I'm picturing. Have you seen the meme? It's like the Olympic. It's like the guy, he won like an Olympic medal. He's like biting the thing. He's cheering. He's like popping champagne, and then it shows him in like third place. Oh my god,
that's gonna be me.
It's gonna be you in second or third. It's just gonna be me up top. I'm just like,
I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up with these little
medals, these little Olympic medals.
I'm gonna show up with these tiny legs like this, like this. It's just gonna be like an ankle that connects to my knee, but it's just gonna look like a rod.
It's gonna look like jail chains on your ankles.
The thing is, I think it's so funny when people come in and they're like, my calves are better than yours, and they're not better because they're just big. There's no definition. It's all about the definition.
It's everything. It's
yeah.
everything.
If you ain't got cuts, you got nothing.
My friends send me they'll send me pictures of like soccer play. I'll get like Ronaldo. They're like, you gotta do better, and I'm like, I know. All right, just fuck off. Until Ronaldo starts making keyboards, I don't care what he does. He's peak performance. I'm like, all right, of course he's gonna have it. He's God. What do you want from me?
Right. The man runs 4 or 5 hours a day.
He runs like a half marathon every game. Like, what do you want? Of course he's gonna have better calves. We'll at least let Ronaldo think he has better calves. Yeah, I have skater calves. Fight me. What are skater calves?
That means he's got one muscular calf on the right or the left leg, and the other
one. Oh my god! I skated for 10 years and I've never heard that before.
I don't know if that's what he means by it, but I mean I've been skateboarding since I was like 7 or 8, so like it was very easy to have very awkward legs.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I did see Archetype say something about this. I don't know if he's trolling or not, but it's the keyboard hobby is projected to be like 1.6 billion by 2023. I don't know if you're fucking with me, because like I could like on the dumbest way see that actually happening, but also like
I mean, like, I feel like that's super high, but like
it sounds incredibly high, but it's like think about how fast it's grown in a year.
Right.
Like,
well, you got to think too, like it's not even so much about how much it's grown, it's also about the monetary value of things within the community. And you know, the more, yes, things spiked during COVID price-wise, but I still, like, no matter what, you can take this. If I took, so like if I took my GMK copper set, right? I took that anywhere outside of anybody who knew what they were, and said, I'm gonna need $300 for these. People would be like, what? Or if I brought my, you know, if I brought my Think 6.5 V2, if I brought this anywhere, it was like $650.
Like, imagine going up to somebody and looking them dead in the eye, hitting them a TGR Jane, and going to them, looking at them dead serious, like, this is a down payment for a house.
Yeah.
the bank will laugh at you.
Yeah, I seen one get sold for 8 grand.
Who was it? Was it every? I think it was like a bunch of bongos. I don't know if it was every bongo, but it was a large amount of bongos, and someone put up on McMarkets like, "We'll trade for a Tesla."
Oh my god.
I
I
don't know
think
if
I
he
saw,
got the Tesla, but someone I remember at McMarket post he had like a ton of bongos. He's like, "I will trade this for a Tesla."
but that's the thing is I feel like because of COVID, everybody is now investing in tech and in working from home. And no matter how you look at it, working from home pushes people more towards PCs, mechanical keyboards, and then it just trickles down from there. So I mean I don't doubt that the numbers are going to continue to increase because all of a sudden for the past year, major corporations like the ones that I've worked for, where I sold things uh, over the internet, over phone, they don't need to have a 50,000 square foot building to do this in when people could do this from home if they provide you with the stuff to do it, or they compensate you in order to do this stuff from home.
Sure.
It's less than paying electricity, mortgage on a building, all of that stuff. So I feel like working from home is going to start being a huge thing in the future. And I honestly don't see the tech and mechanical keyboard industry go down at all.
And when everyone goes, I was actually going to touch on that. When everyone goes back into the office, everyone's going to need a work keyboard unless they're unfortunate like Manoli, because my work wouldn't let me use a keyboard because they didn't know where the PCB was from. Anyway,
Really?
I built a Hex 6C and I'm not allowed to use it at my office. They're like, we can't like prove, because we do some like kind of like privatized work that is like very like we can't get hacked.
Sure.
So they're like, you are not allowed to use this. And I'm like, fuck.
Wow, that's harsh. That's I mean, I guess that's understandable though.
It makes sense. I'm not like trust me. Like I didn't like even like it's fine. It happens. Like I shouldn't be surprised. I was too excited to think about it. Um, but no. But I've had two friends very recently reach out. They're like, hey, like, because I've had a lot of friends like ask me, and I'm sure you've probably been in that same boat where they're like, hey, yo, make me a keyboard. Like money's no option. I'd like to do like I want like a number pad full size, and I'm like it's probably gonna cost you at least like $500, like for like a full size keyboard. And they're like, money's not an option. I'm not interested anymore. Like, it makes sense. I'm not even like this doesn't mean like knocking them. This is an
Right.
irrational. This is an insane hobby. This does not make sense, but it's fine. But I have recently had two friends come up to me. They're like, "Look, like I know it's expensive, but that's fine. Like we are like I expect this to last me the rest of my life. And if this is as good as you say it is, like I am willing to invest in something that I use quite literally every single day. Like my friend
Right.
works in accounting, my friend's an archaeologist. They're like we live on the computer. Like if we're gonna like I am willing to like invest in this.
Yeah. I actually had a friend reach out to me maybe about a week ago, and she was like, my husband uses his computer every day and I want to invest in a good keyboard for him, and I see the stuff that you do. Would you be willing to help me? And I was like, what's your budget? That was my first question.
And
I was like,
that's always the
what's
first.
your budget?
It has to be the first question. It sucks, but
And
it really is.
yeah, it has to be. And she was like, well, I don't know, what's an average? I was like, well, the average is really anywhere between probably $300 to $500.
Like I
And
feel like it's been getting more. I feel like average is like $500. Like if you
yeah,
really want to, and like that it might be higher. It's because boards are
well,
getting
but
so insane.
I just feel like there's a lot of boards that
There's
are
a
right
lot of
around that
option.
300.
No,
Yeah,
I
that are
agree.
right around that 300 mark where you could pull off something good with a good $300 budget. Um, and that's what she said to me. She was like, I could do $300, and I was like, okay, that's not awful. So, but yeah, it's definitely that question has come up.
Snoop Dogg says, "Bro, would you trust a mechanic who had rusty old broken tools? Then why would you trust a coder who uses a whack keyboard?"
I mean,
But it is like I was explaining to like my family when I first bought my KBD. I had to lie to my because I was living at home with my I went home from New York to stay with my family during COVID, and obviously that's when I got into the hobby. I think I dropped like $400 on my first board. I told them 200 because I'm not crazy and I have Greek parents who would be floored. Now my dad like gets it, like he understands now.
yeah,
But it's like people like ask me like, why the hell would you spend that much? Like even 200 was like shell shocking to them, which to be fair is crazy. But I was just like, look, like my entire livelihood and what I do outside of my livelihood is almost exclusively on the computer. I use it all day, every day.
Yep.
I don't have a problem investing in something that I'm going to use that heavily. Like I got a good deal on this Herman Miller. I still spent a lot of money on this Herman Miller. I sit in it every day, and I
Right.
have not for a second regretted paying how much I did for this chair, which I
Sure.
didn't even pay a lot for what you pay for Herman Millers. Like it is like if you were going to, it's exactly like if you're going to use it every day. I don't think it is a poor
Well,
investment choice as long as you're happy with it, of course.
right, and I think that that's a battle that I started to have with myself about 2 months ago, was because I have 5 boards sitting in front of me, and I have 5 more on the way.
Oh, that is a whole different story.
But the thing
Having
is,
multiple of these is
yeah.
insanity, which
So
I
my
am
problem
also
is though,
insane.
yeah, but the difference is that you create and make content with keyboards. I don't. Nobody ever sees my stuff.
It is no matter what anyone tells you, especially someone like me. Like I'm not getting like a lot of prototypes. I'm not getting a lot of client builds. This is insanity what I do. Like this is like it is an unsustainable. It's not sustainable. Like it's not even like considered like I've like toned it back a lot with my purchases. I like a big thing I've talked about a lot on the stream is like I'm tired of keeping up with the Joneses in that sense. And that's what this hobby kind of became a lot of me in the last couple months. Don't trust me. Like it is insanity.
Yeah. Well,
But I'm
the first
addicted.
group I the first group buy that I got in was the Iron 165.
Wow.
I
That's your
didn't even
first. No, 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 no. That's your first group buy.
That was my first group buy and I won. And
You
the
animal.
only reason I got into it was because Jeff and Dutch were like, "Hey, are you guys getting in on this?" I was like, "What is it?" They're like, "It's a keyboard. You got to try out for it."
This
I
boy.
tried it. I tried it and I won. So now listen,
Did you
I
even have a
didn't
clue?
even
Did you even have a clue what you got?
I had no idea. I had no idea what I got. And then I won and they were like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And I feel like they hated me for a few days.
I hate you.
Yeah. So but that's the thing is I was like, "Oh, cool. Like I won a board. That's sweet." And they were like, "What do you mean?" "Oh, yeah, that's cool." Like, what do you mean? Yeah.
Literal for like a grail. I remember
Yeah.
like it's oh my god. Like what you happen to use what I dream. I feel like every time I enter a hobby, I'm like these raffles aren't that hard. I'm different. And then a year later, loot taking 50,000 L's, you're just like I'm not different. I'm never
No,
gonna be different. When I won the bongo, I thought I hit a holy grail. You hit a iron 165 on your first group, not even your first try at iron, specifically your first group
like
buy.
I had never done a group buy before, and I literally had just, I mean, a month earlier, I had purchased a Womier K87
What an
as my
upgrade!
first board
What an upgrade!
and an Amazon keycap set because I didn't know anything about keycaps.
Hell yeah!
And my first cable was a Calamity cable because he was the first person in the hobby that I had met in general. He was the first person I met. Um, and literally a month prior, that was the board that I was using when I won. And then I was like, well, what am I gonna do now? How long do I have to wait for a board? I didn't even know that there was a wait time. I thought that I was gonna get it in like a week.
Oh,
No
it's
clue. No clue. And then they're like, it's gonna be a year. I was like, oh god, what?
by the wise words of from the wise words of my from the wise words of my mod bread mold. Half the fun is waiting. Um, in reality, I want to die. I'm sick of group buys. I've banished my. I have one more set I'm allowed to buy besides my own, and that's GMK soya milk. After that, I'm never buying until I see those lead times go down for GMK. I'm not buying any more GMK sets, and I've painfully passed on multiple sets recently.
I
Like
just did the same thing, and I
it's just
talked
oh,
about
it's
it a few
crazy.
times. Yeah, I talked about it a few times when I really wanted to go for what was it that just came out? Was it Mizo round two? Or no. It was what was just a round two?
Bingsu?
No, I don't know what it was. Anyways, there was a round two for it, and it you know how usually when you do the group buy, you can see that it says estimated time of ship.
Yeah.
This was hidden. I had to search for it,
Yeah.
and
They're
it
doing
said
that now.
it was a year and a half out. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I want
Oh,
I
it was botanical round two.
that's like not even it's not even shocking either. Like it is my dad made a joke to me. I've said this so many times on the street. My dad made a joke to me because I told him how I'm gonna be how I found vendors for Evil Eye, and he's like, "Oh, nice. When's it gonna like happen?" And I'm like, "We're looking at like quarter one, quarter two of next year." He's like, "And how long is it gonna take to get to us?" I'm like, "Probably over a year." He's like, "You're gonna be out of the hobby by the time you get your own keycap set." And I'm like, "You're right, but like keep your voice down. Like don't say that." It was I'm being serious though. Like it was him saying that is what clicked with me. I'm like, dude, I gotta
Yeah.
stop buying GMK sets. Like
Yep.
I am putting my money into nonsense in a sense that
Yep.
it's like the way I think about it. There's sets I did pass on that I'm like, wow, I like I Bingsu hurt me not to go for. But
Yep.
it's like one of those things. It's like you know what, just save your money. It's fine. If you really want it, just try to go to extras, and if not, pay resell. Like it's gonna suck, but like at least you know for sure. And it's not I'm bad with impulse buying. That is like one of my worst traits.
So I have 5 GMK sets, and I only got one of them on group buy, and I still don't have it. But every keycap set that I have, I really, really, really wanted. Like it wasn't like a just gonna buy it just to have it so I can leave it in the packaging. Every set I have is a grail set to me,
Sure,
and that
that's
that was just important to me. And I need to say, Archetype said, I mean to be fair, Otto has amazing luck, and I know that he's joking because I still have yet to win an Archetype keycap, and I think I've entered almost every single
you won't
Archetype
even
raffle, and I
you
have
won't even ring it. He won't even ring it for you.
no, dude, I have reached out to him every single time he has a sale. I message him and I'm like, yeah, that was fun.
What the fuck? You
But he,
know,
but
he erases your name every time you enter. He's like, and where? There he is. He gets a
no,
notification.
I told him I was like, dude, I swear to God, I've gotta be banned. I had to have entered twice or something. At some point, I must have done something to like throw it off. And he's like, I'll look into it. He's like, no, you're good. You just don't have any luck. I was like, sick.
Nice. He's just
Yeah.
like he's you. I mean, to be fair, you dumped it all out for a god tier board. So,
Well,
um,
and that's the thing is, so like when I got that board, I was like, well, now I actually need a board that I can use. So now, because I don't have a board, like the Womir is trash. So then I started getting other boards, but
yes, yes.
yeah, and I still don't have the iron. And now I'm sitting here with my first board that I actually got and that I use is the Tofu 65, and then I got the KBD Mark II,
Mm.
and then I had a Think 6.5 V1, and now I have the Think 6.5 V2,
I
but I have
really want.
5 more boards on the way.
I really wanted to build the space. I still really want to buy Space 65. That's the same people who made the space made the think, right? Yes, that's.
Yes,
I
I like
real.
the Space 65 a lot.
I want the. I really want the. I think it was a Schrodinger, the cream and black with the black badge, the cream color
The
one.
cream on boards looks so good.
Dude, I'm a suck. The only reason I haven't honestly gotten is because I already have now two. I have the U80 Soya and then the Ramakara Soya. I am a sucker for like a nice off-white cream color. It just
Yep,
looks fantastic.
yep,
Um.
100%.
Oh
But
my.
I just got like I wasn't gonna get it on the mode 65, but the colorways that it comes in, I was like, I have to.
He cracked.
I cracked, dude. And I listen, Lady Auto and I were sitting in the DMV for like 4 hours, and this board went for sale, and I was like, hey, so there's this thing that I want to do. And dude, she's like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Yo, I've never purchased anything so fast in my life because I was afraid she was gonna take it back.
he's like, he's he, he's like, hey, I really want this thing. It's okay.
Yeah,
just, just bet. Say
yeah.
less.
I
For,
already had it picked out. I knew the colorway. I knew exactly what I wanted it to look like. All the extras, everything was in the cart. She was like, okay. I was like,
She's like, that was fast.
yeah.
Oh my god. Ugh. Alright. My last question. What is your Iron 165 build gonna be? Because I still can't fucking believe you got that.
What's it? What?
What's your Iron 165 build gonna be? Do you have any idea? I feel like you have to think about it.
Yeah. So I'm. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, simply because I have figured out what I like a board to sound like,
Okay.
and that's all I go for now. Like that's just
You're not the only one that I know. Gym leader Nathan is notorious for that, which isn't a bad thing. If you know what you like, man, why not? Like, if you're like,
right.
if it's
Well,
for you, who cares?
and that's the thing is I know that content creators that do this with keyboards, they try different things out to see how different things sound. But I have found the sound that I like, so that's what I want to stick to. So it will be the Iron 165 with palm plate, marshmallows, and possible. I mean, I don't know what set I'll run on it. I'm most likely going to end up running. Um, I'll probably end up running the what is it?
GMK Evil Eye. I think that's that shit you're thinking of. GMK
Yeah, yeah,
Evil
that was
Eye.
the one. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the set you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, first, do people hate on marshmallows? Is that a thing? I love I've used them on
Oh
one
no, no, no,
board.
nope. Every time I say that my favorite Switch is a marshmallow, like everybody's like, "Oh my god, I absolutely love them!" Like, but I have them in every board except my Think. My Think 6.5 has the gap blacking twos. So I wanted to try a new switch out. Still has the long stem, like still has the same sort of sound profile, but I don't like it as much as the marshmallows. And I now have 400 marshmallows for every board that comes in.
That was literally, I think I bought 400 alpacas because I'm like, I love these. I
Yeah.
never, like, I'm like, this is it. I love this, and they're still like, they're probably my favorite Switch. So I feel you 100%. I have only used marshmallows in my mod, Mr. Santos's Mode 80. And I love that. I didn't want to send him the board back. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's a lot of when they ship. I'm hoping there's a good bit of extras because I would like to pick up at least enough for like a build, like maybe like 100 or something.
Yeah.
I love marshmallows though. I have it's the EV00s. It was part of the Evangelion series. I think Bespoke did.
Yeah.
I have those coming in, which are I think they're the progressives. Sir,
So the
I was a
other
mess.
switch that I haven't tried palm switches yet, and everybody has been telling me
I
that if
love
you
Durak
like
palms.
marshmallows, try palms. So I actually just won 90 palm switches or 90 palms.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't do any lubing and filming, so I'm gonna have to send them off to somebody to get them done because
I
I am not messing with that.
I've only used them once. I did it in the Tangent Design 03 on a copper plate. I believe it was copper. It might have been brass. Either way, uh, I loved the sound and feel of them. They are it for me. It probably goes at least for linears, alpacas, Duroc palms. You could alternate Duroc palms and Telioses. Those are
Oh,
probably
okay.
my three favorite, and then like really well broken ink. Like I have creams that I've incredibly broken ink just because I've used them so much, and I
Sure.
love them. Like that's like my tier list.
So
Um,
I'm excited to try them for sure.
they're great. I really like them. I mean, worst case, you could literally just throw in a progressive. You could buy progressive springs if you really like the way like marshmallows feel. You could
Yeah.
buy progressive strings. That kind of gives it essentially, I guess.
Yeah, that,
Have,
and I may. That's the thing is I may do that. I don't know. My thing is that like if I was to build like my favorite, my favorite case is polycarb because of the I like the dampened muted sound. So like a polycarb with a palm plate and marshmallows is like that's like the holy, the grail for me. Like this thing, dude.
It's a beaut. Polycard boards are, and especially like even if you don't like, if you don't want the gamer, if you don't want the gamer lights, the RGB,
Yeah.
turning it up like that just looks clean on its own. It doesn't even need the lights, you know.
Yeah, it just looks so good.
Have
Not
I
to
ever tried?
mention, I'm in love with Bushido.
There you go. That is a nice set.
Yeah.
I've never tried any SP Star switches. To answer your question, Dispatch. Um, but I think that about wraps it up, though. Thank you so much, Otto. I appreciate you
No, of
coming on. No,
course.
seriously, like I really do. Thanks for
Thank you
being
for
the
having me.
first.
I appreciate it.
No, of course. Thank you for being the first artisan maker on here. Monumental, an absolute milestone in my eyes.
I appreciate it, man. That means a lot to me that I'm the first one that you had on.
No, of course. If you guys would like, if you do command guest, you can check out Mr. AtoWorks' Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. It's AtoWorks Keycaps now, correct? Or
So Instagram is AutoWorks underscore keycap.
got it.
Keycaps. Yeah.
And then Twitch or Twitter is AtoWorks Keycaps.
Yep.
Go to his channel, guys. Check out his Discord. Please follow him on Instagram. The guy takes one, sick photos, and two, that's where you'll probably find your best chance announcements to get any of his future raffle sales. Um, Anything else you'd like to plug, sir? Any keycaps dropping soon? When's the next time you're streaming? Talk to me.
So I'm streaming. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Um, that won't change. We just dropped our next sale, so we will be having a sale on the 10th. So we have 9 days. Well, no, I'm sorry, we have 11 days, and that's going to be for Oda Nobunaga. And we're super super excited to get this cap out. I don't like to make people wait typically. So all the caps will be set and ready to go, packaged, prepped, everything. So once the sale happens, the caps will go out within that week.
That's
So
amazing. I will definitely be entering for one. I have a purple board coming in it's the purple one, correct? That's the colorway.
yes,
Yeah, I have a board. I want to throw that on. I've been thinking about this. I'm very
this
excited.
is the final.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I really like this new mold, man. It looks good. You did good. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Poppy.
But like I said, guys, please make sure you follow Mr. Otto. I like to lurk in his streams at work. Uh, there's my podcast, Twitch. It's all of the Asian streamers, all the ones in Asia, and then you, and sometimes JoJo, who's now in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Um, but like I said, man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll definitely have you on again. Um, Guys, please make sure September 10th. I shouldn't be telling you guys to enter because I want to win.
I hear that
But
all the
enter.
time.
I shouldn't be like advertising for your next like the artists so that I want to win. But definitely make sure you check out his streams. Follow him on Instagram. The goods. You guys know what to do. We're all on social media here. Go show him some love. He deserves it. But yeah, buddy, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No, thank you, man. It means a lot, and I want to say really quickly that from the beginning, from before my daughter's accident and before everything kind of happened for us as far as AutoWorks goes, to have your kindness and friendship and to be able to be one of the first, you were the first person that said to me, if people just fuck them, dude, like do you like do your thing, and like to have that and then continue to be friends and build our relationship and continue to show love and support to each other throughout the past 6-7 months. I appreciate you, man. It means a lot. It means a lot to have a core set of people on your side, the whole way. It means a lot.
Absolutely, and it's literally like it's not even like a second thought in my head. Like I said, like same with you. Like from the start, I could tell like I'm like you're a good person. Like I would love to like keep like talking. I know we haven't like talked on calls or anything too much since then. But like just like you like showing any support I can. I'm always happy to support my friends and show some love where I can. And I'm happy. I'm happy you stuck around.
I appreciate it, man. And honestly, your advice and your friendship was one of the main reasons why I didn't give up on this, was because I felt like I did have people that were like backing me, people that were like, you know what, we got you. Like, that will just keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely, man. And you know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of us out there.
Oh yeah,
Um, that's amazing though. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the kind words. And especially the appreciation you've shown back to me. It does mean a lot as well.
of course, man.
Ah, but guys, that is our interview with Mr. AtoWorks. Please check him out. Please enter his raffles. You know the drill. We're gonna go raid Miss Liz Kit's honey. She's building. I think it's the Lock 75. I need the. It's like LCK, so I'm assuming it stands for Lock. If not, I don't know. I'm calling it the Lock 75. Please go show her some love. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't follow her, please follow her. Support Cat PB and J. I know it's a little. It's in the process of getting out there. Um,
GMK Evil Eye.
GMK, never heard of it. Never heard of it. You'll get it one day, maybe. Ato, have a fantastic night. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thanks, buddy.
And as for the rest of you, as always, mwah, cheers, my friends. I appreciate you all. I'm streaming a KVD 5-degree build at the Bikos tomorrow at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna be building it, not Thursday. Go watch Ato at 11:30 for the coffee and come to me for the drinks after. All right, good night, guys. Go show Liz some love.